Will Levis, we did talk about him. Do you want to? I mean, we talked about him pretty much. I mean, there's nothing really else to say with him, but just in case.
So the goofy thing with Will Levis, what I wanted to bring up, we've had this week. There's, I think it was the Dove Kleiman guy or one of those. There's these terrible Twitter aggregators that have big followings that don't have actual sources. There has been reporting that Will Levis is bombing interviews. I find that very hard to believe.
No, he's bombing interviews.
Is he actually, though? He was supposed to be this high character kid.
This is the problem that I've heard that he's saying. He's basically going in there and saying, if you don't take me first, you're going to pay. And it is rubbing some organizations the wrong way. Now, let me tell you something.
I don't think bombing that's kind of stupid to take that into account for a kid just because he's confident.
Right. So for me, so as an example, I talked to one team that has a top 5 pick. I'm not going to reveal. I can
probably guess who it is.
Okay. In the interview that they had with him, he walked up to their owner and said, if you don't draft me, it's going to be the worst decision that you've ever made. And then he gave over his whatever questionnaire that they had. He said, have a good day, and walked out. And I was told by a buddy of mine that was in that meeting that the owner looked at him and said, go reevaluate him right now. So
in a good way or a bad way?
In a good way. So then this is the second question that I asked. Are y'all putting out false stuff to people to get people to stay away from Will Levis? They said yes.
Yes. I think that this is perfect smokescreen.
1,000%.
And we might get to Jalen Carter on this. It's the same deal. Everyone needs to remember what time of year it is. We are so close to the NFL draft. It is April. It is coming up. Something like that is perfect bait for a team to be like, okay, he was really intense and we like that. But if we spin this, we put this out to some agents, we put this out to some media people, and this gets pushed out there, a team that might have felt a little weird about the conversation might then allow it to completely dominate their thought process.
No doubt.
It doesn't usually work. It doesn't necessarily work, but we're trying to create these fake narratives so that he falls. I really think that he's going to be the second overall pick to the Houston Texans based on what we know that they value at the quarterback position. I don't think it's going to be Bryce because, and I've been saying this a lot, that I think that they're going to pick him because of what Caserio, as a former disciple of Belichick, is going to value as a quarterback. I will say this, though.
It would not shock me.
Yes. I will say this, though, Blake. I think I didn't know that aspect of it that you brought up. The dude seems corny as all hell, man. It's to him to be like, if you don't draft me, that's too intense, man. That's way too intense.
Well, you know who else is corny?
Such a hardo.
Well, hold on.
It's just like the pictures, man. He's such a hardo.
Hold on now. Don't act like we ain't have no corny quarterbacks that have absolutely gone out there and performed now.
Yeah.
You know, here's some quarterbacks that come to mind just off the top of my head. Andrew Luck. Hey, buddy, Andrew, stop. Okay, number 2.
He wasn't a hard.
Hold on. What?
Not like this. Andrew Luck wasn't going around telling people, if you don't draft me, you're going to regret
this. You know what Andrew Luck was doing? You know what Andrew Luck was doing? He was going around to his teammates giving report cards.
Yeah, that's him being a dork. That's not him being
then that's
overly intense hardo.
Here's the problem I have with Will Levis.
Yeah.
Number 1, I think that he tries to do too much at times. I think he's got all the athletic ability. I think that he's got all of the tools that you need. I think he is accurate enough. I do think that he has a big enough arm. I do think he is athletic enough. Joe, name one skill player at Kentucky that's worth a damn. Name one.
There are none.
Okay. So he's doing that in the SEC. I'm going to give him a little bit more than I do Anthony Richardson, because Anthony Richardson had more talent around him. You know what tells me that? Recruiting. Okay. Do you really think that Kentucky had a good offensive scheme too? Stop that. No. Okay, stop that. So
wait, my big problem though with Will Levis and why I don't think he's going to be successful.
You're going to let a dude finish? You yelled at me all week about you don't let me finish.
Oh, I thought you were done. I thought you were transitioning points.
Go ahead.
All I was going to say is that the guy has no touch with the football. He doesn't know how to take anything off.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Because you're okay with him not having touch.
You know what you're getting with Will Levis. I think Will Levis can run a system better than what Anthony Richardson can.
I don't
And
want.
that's a big thing. You got to be able to go in there and command the room and run a system.
Yeah. I think, though, and there's evidence of it on tape, I don't need a guy who is ripping a pass, a flare route at a running back, and it's uncatchable, or overthrowing him.
I agree with that. And
he's got to fix that
a lot. Well, he also did that too because he was getting hit. Like, he was the most hit quarterback in the SEC the last 2 seasons. Okay.
He was.
There's one thing here's another thing that a scout told me the other day. He goes, Blake, do you remember when Kentucky played Ole Miss and Will Levis's finger was pointing like horizontally? Okay. He goes, the kid went back in there, taped it up, and then he went 8 for 10 in his next 10 passes. That's the kind of stuff we see because we can take a kid and help him develop before we can take a kid that doesn't want to work. All right. So we'll see on Will Levis as well.